Welcome to Spotlight TV. I'm your host, Emily Zubi, and we have some really special guests today. And not only are they special because of who they are the owners of Fred Astaire in Coral Gables. We have Vera and Vladimir Kosarev, and I am so excited to have them on. You're going to hear their story and hear all about Fred Astaire Coral Gables. But one of the things I said when I turned 65, I wanted to take ballroom dancing and maybe even enter competition. So who do I call up? But of course, Vera. And I said, Vera, I don't know if I can make this happen. She goes, of course you can. So I'm so excited to have them and for you to hear their story, their amazing business, and beautiful dance studio. Welcome to Spotlight TV. This is all about you and your story and your brand. So welcome to Spotlight TV.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us, and we can't wait to see your progress.
Thank
you so much. So we're not used to be on the spotlight sitting. So we used to be on the spotlight and actually moving, but this is first time for us as well. Thank you for having us.
Oh, wonderful. Well, tell me a little bit about how you got started, and then we're going to play a short video because I think the best way to see what your brand is all about is to watch it. Because, I mean, I fell in love with it, seeing you dance, and the both of you, I mean, I don't know how long you've been married, but the chemistry is undeniable. So tell me when and how you started your
dancing.
First let's start with Fred Astaire. How long have you had the franchise and been where you are?
So I guess you would call a Fred Astaire baby. I started when I was 12. I was actually a student in Rochester, New York, in Fred Astaire.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So then I started on the phone. I did cold calling. I mean, this was back before, this was yellow pages, white pages, we would call people and try to get them to come into the studio. So I started there, and then eventually I started teaching. And then we opened our studio in 2011.
So you've been at that same location?
Yes. No, not in the location, but
okay.
in Coral Gables. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And this location just about over a year.
Wonderful. This location is beautiful.
Thank you.
I just think
Such a great spot.
It's so beautiful. It's so spacious. It's so luxurious. It's easy to find. And you know, I love it. And then tell me about the two of you. When did you meet and your love story?
That's really interesting story. So I came to United States in 2001. So it's been 24 years ago, as I started dancing when I was very young, 6 years old. And the owner of the studio invited me to work for him in Rochester. So I came directly to work at Fred Astaire Dance Studios. And I was dancing with other partner at that time. And we actually met in a nightclub, believe it or not. So her partner took me to the club because I just came from Russia, no English, very interesting expectation about United States. And then that's my favorite story to tell because that was one of the most popular club in Rochester, New York. But if you know Rochester, New York, it's not New York City, you know. So, but that was the spot at that day.
I was going to say, I mean, I used to fly to Rochester, but I don't know of any clubs in Rochester. So it's interesting that you
was
found one.
Karma or
it was Tonic.
Tonic. So that
the
was
rooftop.
The place to go. And it's always packed. So I'm personally never been in a club before. So I just came from small city in Russia. And all you can see, the dance floor full of people, right? And all of a sudden the people split and I see her with two friends and walking across the floor, and you know, it's like Moses, water splits and they walk in. So, and her partner said, oh, this is Vera and you need to go and dance with her. I'm like, why would I dance with her? And he goes, because she's such a great dancer. She's like the best dancer ever. And at that time, I was number 9 in Europe dancer. So I was a little cocky, didn't look like that because we don't want to talk about how I was looking at that point. And I think we just kind of introduced each other, you know, because we both speak Russian. I mean, I didn't speak English at all. And she has a boyfriend at that time. And so nothing happened. And then a few months later, she came back to the studio and started working again. And both our partners quit. at the same week, and we have an event in the studio. So our boss goes, "Why don't you try dancing together?" We're like, okay. Meanwhile, that was Tuesday and the show in Saturday. So we have 5 days to practice. We put some 2 dances. I still remember.
I don't even think it was to music. I know it was a hot mess, but
it was waltz. I still remember, to the Phantom of the Opera, and
it's not even a waltz.
Yes, and we look at the video, and since then, first touch, first glance.
Oh,
Well, I have a little trick, so I kind of put my arm in the posture and I scratch a little back. So that's what got it.
I love that. Well, you know what? No time like now to show the clip of the both of you dancing, because we're going to cut away to the video. I think it's true chemistry, and I love it. So we're going to cue it up and show you these dance partners at play. Amazing.
That's actually, we retired in 2016, so we didn't dance.
If that's tired, I hate to see what's
retired.
Oh, retired.
So that's actually our syllabus moves. We were just shooting a little promo, so that's not even our competition. So if you want to learn, those are just actually simple moves that you're going to be doing very soon.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm like looking forward to it. So, I mean, I love that. When you said that you retired, I mean, what does that mean exactly in the dance world? Does that mean that, you explain that to me.
So we were dancing professionally for a long time. So all that means is we're not competing together in the pro division, but we're still teaching. We still have students, and we have, we're actually going to the Fred Astaire World Championships
in 2 weeks.
in July. Yes.
Where is that?
In
Las
Vegas. So there's I think we're probably at 18,000 entries right now. And we just had a competition in New York. This is how big ballroom dancing is getting. In New York, our cross-country championships had 27,000 entries. Yeah, I think it was record for U.S. history. It's incredible.
That's it is trending. I mean, and I have my pulse on all the trends. I'm a TikToker. I'm an influencer.
You're awesome.
I mean, that's my brand. But I will tell you, I have loved ballroom dancing forever, and I've danced my whole life. But I know that now it's made a resurgence, and I belong to this chat, and there's, I don't know how many people on the chat, and they're all like, everything is, dancing, ballroom dancing, when and where, all the events that are happening.
It's ageless. There's so many benefits. You can do it literally forever. And I'm telling you, the clock turns backwards, because we have students that 10 years later, we compare their photos and it's like it's flipped. It's unbelievable.
Well, I mean, all these dance shows too, the networks have really brought back that whole idea of dance and having it as a competition. So it's super exciting and it's wonderful. It's great exercise, and what a better way to move your body. Now, Miami Women of Rock and the Zubi group, we're all about brands that give back, and we have a corporate social responsibility platform. And one of our rock stars was telling us they were also talking to you, about maybe doing a fundraiser that's related to dance. Can you tell us a little bit about the parameters? You don't need to talk about who yet, because we don't know if they're locked in or not. But, I think the concept as a fundraiser is the most spectacular thing I've ever heard.
Yes. So we did one for American Cancer Society, and they raised over $1 million that night. It was a record-breaking. We had a lot of celebrities there, and it was just an amazing evening. It was
How
beautiful.
did it work in terms of the concepts? Like, how many couples did they get fundraised for the individual couple? The mechanics of it?
Basically, at that point, and at this point, we have 4 male teachers and 3 female teachers, so we can take at 7 stars.
We can dance twice.
And basically, we prepare for, let's say, 2 weeks. Like, we have one routine choreography, and then on the night of the event, because everybody want to see the celebrity kind of get a little out of the comfort zone. That's basically why everybody want to see it. And at the night of the event, I think it's a different prices for per each table, and then the straight donations and all. I think it's.
Where did the American Cancer Society? I'm a very big proponent and donor for American Cancer
It was
Society.
JW Marriott, I believe.
Oh,
Or
Marquee.
Marriott Marquee in downtown.
Brickell.
oh, the Brickell JW Marriott. Yeah, we had our event there the year before.
We have
Actually,
our competition this year in December, our regional, our
Oh,
inter-regional actually is going to be there in second weekend of December, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So
Oh,
we have a banquet, we have a gala, we're going to have live music. It's
you guys don't
amazing
stop.
event. We don't stop. We actually took over our region recently.
Well, that's a dream come
Yeah.
true, like how you ask how we started. I always want to have my own studio, but I never knew it's going to be in the United States. And then when I came to this country and I met the guy who used to be the regional representative or regional owner, his name was Armando. And he asked me, so Vlad, he always was big on personalities. So he come to me and he was, so Vladimir, who you gonna be? And my English, I'm like, I wanna be you. And that was 24 years ago. So this February, like Vera just mentioned, we become the regional owners of Fred Astaire Dance Studios, South Florida, with our friends, with our partners. So
They're amazing.
We
We're
have
so lucky.
locations from Orlando to Key West.
Just 20 schools.
Congratulations. That's huge.
It's amazing.
You say that so mad. Oh,
No, it's a big deal.
I'm just trying to sound cool on the
yeah,
camera.
no, that's a big deal. Congratulations. I mean, that's so wonderful. So tell me, a little bit about when was that first glimmer of the dream? Like, how early do you remember thinking this is what you wanted to do, or was it like that childhood dream?
So when we started dancing, we weren't sure what's going to happen. We just got together our first competition. So there's something called Rising Star and then Open Pros. So Rising Star is kind of more beginner professional. So we did our first event. We made the final. We were in Millennium Dance Sport Championships and we were fourth, I think. And then the next day, we already knew that there was like 5 or 6 couples from the Open, so we weren't even planning on making the final. I think, did you lose your button or something?
Yes,
so he lost his button. So we're just chilling in the hallway, and they call us to the final. And we're like, how did that happen? We weren't supposed to make it. So he's running, trying to fix his button, trying to find sewing kit. So when we made the final, we just danced for maybe 3 months. So, and then kind of started on a journey.
It's so many fun stories, with competitions or even with practices. And we just so blessed because we have so many opportunities to do the shows, to travel the world, actually. That's the first time we took the students to England, to the most famous competition called Blackpool. That was 2016. And actually, first time in my life, I flew first class. So this world gives you much more opportunities than people imagine because you can represent your country dancing on the world championship when you start at any age. What kind of sports can offer that?
That's so amazing. So you talk about all the stories. What would be that highlight moment where the both of you, like I call it the pinch me moment, that moment where you're like, I can't believe I'm here doing this, and that ultimate experience.
Wow.
When you think of stories, what would be that at the top of that list?
I'm gonna sound probably really cliche, but when on the morning before we get married, I actually stand down on the stairs and she appears on the balcony, and that would definitely pinch me moment. I realize how beautiful and she is, and
You're gonna make me cry.
I'm start to cry myself, but you never know how lucky you get until you actually, like people say, until you lose it. So I'm lucky that I don't want to lose it. I appreciate every moment of our journey because if you think about, we were living together, practicing together, have a business together. So we were together 24/7. It's really big test on the relationship, when people say, what's this world that when they living together, the routine. When routine hits the feelings, usually it's like a killer of the relationship, and we have a business and a career and a living together. So, I mean, she's just amazing because she can handle my mood swings because I'm a Pisces, that's what she told me. I think I'm perfect, but,
you have your moments.
Oh, yes, I do.
That is so romantic. What about you?
Yeah,
just
to follow up, we're going on 18 years. Our anniversary is coming up in July. And
July 21st?
21st, 18 years. And I always tell people, this is a marriage advice, is to read their horoscope. So one of our students brought us a book, like this thick, down to the day of your birthday. So I always attest that we would not be married if I did not read
what is
his birthday. I'm a Leo. It's coming up in July. But so his first reaction is to say no. I would say, like, there's beautiful flowers, they're white, and he'd say no. So it's just a reaction. If I didn't know that, we would not be, because it used to drive me nuts, but now I just don't pay attention because I know he needs a minute. He says no, and then we can maybe 20 minutes later can come back and actually have the conversation. So definitely understanding your partner helps a lot.
But that's what dancing is all about. If you start dancing, doesn't matter. Like, we were lucky because we started dancing as a kid. So that teaches you that without your partner, you cannot be successful. So basically, from the beginning, it teaches you to appreciate somebody else. And I'm not even talking about how men and women have this relationship forms, like who leads, who's follow. So it's much more deeper than just dancing. So definitely we like it because we start as a kids and we have this culture to, first of all, respect your partner, second of all, respect a woman. So there's
a culture within
absolutely.
The dance. I love that. And what was your pinch me moment? What would be the one moment that,
if we're aside from the private, our personal life, not off the floor, on the floor, I guess I would think, or when we won the world championship in Vegas. So
tell me what that was like.
What year was that?
Describe that moment.
Sure. It's been a while.
14 or 13. No, actually, if you're talking about, remember, we actually went to the competition, to our nationals, week after we got married. And my dad was visiting from Russia here in the United States. And at that point was competition in Chicago. And we were dancing open event. And at this point, we have our current champions. And we were up and coming couple. And we split first place with them at the Rule 11. Remember that? And that was really interesting too. I mean, it's so many.
And we're running around like, what's Rule 11s? And then nobody could explain. It's basically a tie because we have 4 dances. So most of the other divisions have 5. So usually you don't have Rule 11, but in Smooth we have 4. So it happens once in a while.
Now, just to educate myself a little bit on the class, so they're by age groups for a competition? Or
competition, no? Yes. It's divided by age level and gender. So you can literally enter after your first month of dancing, because we would be in the beginner category. All you need to do is do like a box and an underarm turn. So you don't need to do much. And I always encourage, I call it my baby student. I always encourage the baby students to go because you have less pressure. You get your feet wet, because if you wait till you're advanced on paper and you're a beginner in experience, you're still a beginner. So it's good to grow with your progress and start early, if that makes sense.
That totally makes sense. When I was there at the studio planning my birthday dance party, there was a woman there, and I'm just curious, you don't have to give us a name, but what would be your pride moment in one of your students that you have seen the biggest difference?
Actually, I have one story which is completely make me the way I am because dance teachers, it's a special breed because we actually changing people's lives. And I had a student in Buffalo, New York, and she used to have MS. and she have.
I can't listen to the story.
But that's so she has tremors, when she walks. But so we were dancing. I had the first lessons called intro special, and when I know like, can you dance for 10 minutes, 15 minutes? So we need to stop. We used to stop for the water. We have a water cooler, and I give her the glass, and I see that her hand shaking, and she put hand on my shoulders, and she said, "Vladimir, can we never stop? Because when I'm dancing, I don't have tremors." At that moment, I realized this is something bigger than just teaching people how to dance, because it's truly amazing to move to the beat with different human being, and for that forever music playing minute 30, you have no worries, you have nothing to worry about except just moving. I'm talking about my second student who you're talking about, you saw in the studio. She started when she was after 60 years old, never danced before, and she's actually the reigning world champion. We won Embassy World Championship in her age division. That was in 2021 or 22 after COVID, I think.
Wow. She's unbelievable. She's like a pro. She's got her set schedule. She comes.
She works, by the way,
3 times a week for doubles. She's consistent in the events, so she'll compete like maybe every 2 months or so. She's unbelievable. But it's hard to explain to people because they look at her, oh, why don't I look like that? Well, you can. It's just you have to be disciplined. So
well, what's the Fred Astaire is really good about? We call it. We have a conceptual method of teaching, and that sounds really smart. But it's it is works, meaning that you take in private lessons, then we have a group classes, then we have a studio events, and then ultimate thing, it's a competition. Because let's face it, not everybody comes to the studio and say, I want to compete, because this is unusual, right? But after the competition, it's after you've done one, any social event is just piece of cake for you. So part of the training, if you've done competition, if you want to achieve success and results faster, you need to do at least one. And then we said, if you don't like it, I will never bug you again to do it. But it's never happened before. No, never happened before. So everybody after they
one time we told maybe this is not for you. Actually, once it happened.
Oh well, there's always that one, and that's more a reflection of them than it is of you. That's the way I look at it. But God bless you. I mean, that I'm still thinking of that story of the woman with MS, because we always say rock your health, rock the world, and you never know what illness, what situation, you're going to get in life. And the bottom line is that you could have very well just said, you know what, maybe this isn't for you. And instead,
oh no,
and
quite
instead,
the
I commend you, and you have such a good soul and a good heart, because, probably when a woman, or someone needs it most, because illness really attacks your mental health. When you're not, I've had some close calls and have almost died a couple of times. So, I can tell you personally that when, those health situations threaten us, it's very easy to let the mind go with it and let the mind just, veer off and get dark. And you have to work very hard and put the things that make you joy. I love to dance. My father was a big dancer, from when I was little. He in our house, he would put music on, and, he's like, come on, Nana, let's dance. So, I have a connection with music, and I also worked at MTV. But, the fact that you are doing this and bringing it to lives, I'm such a believer that it is so good for the mental health as well as the physical health. So many
studies, yeah.
They actually came up with the end of the studies that they prove that dancing helps with brain activity. And it's so interesting because male and female, or we call it leader and follower, right? So as a leader, as a male student, you truly need to learn your steps. You need to listen to the music, because you need to lead and you need to maneuver around the floor. So your brain busy with different things, because you basically have a blueprint every time you step on the dance floor. for the lady or for the follower, that's so. And we even have a joke like when everybody say Fred Astaire was such a great dancer, but Ginger Rogers did everything backwards and wearing the heels. So I'm commanding all female teachers because, and the students, first of all, because imagine that I know what I'm gonna do next. Lady need to recognize the signal, realize which step I'm doing, and be able to follow to adjust. So the brain work completely different. So it's amazing. I mean, it's never late to start, and it's such a.
My
I don't even know
biggest
how many
pet
efforts.
peeve is when people say, I already know how to dance, I don't need lessons. It's one thing you're at a party and you can move to the music, but taking lessons, particularly in the Latin and ballroom, it gives you, I mean, there's always something to learn. We're still learning, and we've been doing this for so long. So it's not just, okay, I can move and that's it. So you learn routines, you learn at a higher level, you learn technique, you learn balance, you create routines. So it helps with your everyday life. It's, you know, we call it transferable concepts. You are more creative, you're more alert, you have more energy. So it goes beyond just learning how to dance. And if you're already a good dancer, you're already ahead of the curve. So there's so much more that we could show you.
Yeah, you just start from a higher platform.
Yeah, so it's so exciting when we actually, I mean, compared to Buffalo and Miami, people grew up dancing, so it's actually easier to learn.
Yeah, the Latin culture influence here, it's amazing because people, they walk through the door and we play music
They're
all the
already
time in the
moving. It's
studio.
amazing.
And you can see that I'm like, oh my God.
So you
this
can't
is...
teach that.
Well, I told everybody on
Latin
Saturday
swag.
to get your
Yes.
dance shoes on, and you know you have to have a good reason to be sitting down. Other than that, I expect you.
I
to
threaten
try.
people. I say, if you're not in the group dance, you're going to have to do a solo.
I will just remove chairs from the studio. That's
There
it.
you
It's gonna be nowhere to sit.
Yeah, then I won't have people show up. Well, we have a couple minutes left. So this is a time where we give you your opportunity for your TV commercial. You know, how to reach you, you know, your Instagram, your Facebook, and phone number, anything that you want to share, and any special offer.
Absolutely. So we're super easy, at a very easy location to find. We're in the corner. We're at 2320 Galliano Street, diagonal from Ben & Jerry's. And we do recommend the parking behind Graziano's. It's 51 Aragon. And as a thank you for listening and watching, we would like to invite everybody for a complimentary lesson. If you've never been to our studio through September, we can extend the offer. And just give us a call and we'll get you scheduled. Our hours are 12 to 9, Monday through Friday. And our phone number is 305-443-0085. And our email is coralgables@fredastaire.com. Very easy.
And your Facebook also, because you want to get some followers.
Yes, so I think it's just Fred Astaire Dance Studios --Coral Gables, and the Instagram is Fred Astaire Dance Coral Gables.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we're going to be sharing some of this on our Miami Women Who Rock, as well as the Zubi group video. And I mean, I'm just absolutely amazed that now you're also regional, part of the regional, and are helping really grow this trend. And, you know, I can't think of two beautiful human souls to better put this in charge, because I think that dancing is inside out. Just the way I think beauty, you know, people say to me, oh, well, you know, you do all this stuff on beauty. I said, you know, you can try the most expensive cream in the world or do whatever, but beauty is really a reflection of who you are inside. And I think dance is the same way. You know, when we look at that video of the both of you dancing, it's because, you know, you're beautiful and you've been sharing this with so many people and have a great story to share. So thank you so much for being on Spotlight TV. It's been wonderful getting to hear. And I think there's even more stories to tell.
Oh, so many.
We might have to come back for
that flew by. It was so fast.
We might have to come back for a part 2. Does that sound good?
That sounds amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you,
Emily.
I want to thank you all for watching Spotlight TV. I want to especially thank community newspapers, and we just love our partnership and are so grateful to Grant and to Michael, Alex, all the producers, and we'll see you next week on Spotlight TV.